Welcome to Mirror Domains, and we're going to count down all of the theatrical Star Wars movies here today, guys. This is a show where I call Get to Know James, where you get to know little things about me, like who my favorite actors are, what my favorite Star Wars movies are. So we're going to go through a list here, and we're going to take a look at the trailers. And I'm not going to include the Ewok movies, even though I feel like they should be canon. They should be. I think they should be. But we're not going to include them in our list because they weren't theatrical. But that means that we are also going to have to include the Clone Wars. Much to my dismay, because I did go out and see that in the theater. But the way that it's going to work is that we'll go through my list, my ranking of the top 12 Star Wars movies, and we'll take a look at some of the footage from the trailers and such. I'm not going to ramble on for hours here, guys, but if you're in the live chat here with me, then I will definitely be talking with you if you are here. So the way that it's going to work is that hopefully everything that I have set up is going to be working nicely for me. So let me see if this plate works. And yes, it does. Okay. And it shouldn't be changing like that. Not a chance. Okay, so number 12 obviously has to be the Clone Wars, right? Because it's an animated movie. And guys, this list is not going to be something where I'm hoping to ruffle the feathers out of there. Some people, I think the top three should be fairly obvious as to what they are. I grew up in the era of Star Wars, so I collected every kind of box set that came out, VHS sets, the music. I even have like the original VHS with this is the non-special edition, right? So this has got like all of the old visual effects in it. Of course, I've got the Blu-ray set, and I even got this, man. This is kind of cool. This is like a widescreen VHS of The Phantom Menace. So I'm definitely a fan of the Star Wars movies all around, and I'm a big fan of the soundtracks. I've got a bunch of the soundtracks out here too, and we'll talk about why I like Star Wars in these episodes when we go through the list here. But if you're joining us live, definitely, that's the place to be. That's where we're going to be talking about our little fandom. And as I said, this list, all this is meant to be doing is to tell you where my Star Wars movies ranks are. Because if you ask about me and where I rank, then I can just refer you to this Get to Know James playlist that's fully developing now, and it's gaining a little bit of steam. And let's just get into the list and start off with what my number 11 pick. And this is where I guess we're going to have to start butting heads with some people here. But my number 11 pick is The Last Jedi. I went out and I saw this movie in the theater, and I was really looking forward to it because I am a fan of... Well, I thought I was a fan of the sequel trilogy, but when the trailer dropped, I was like, that looks cool. That looks really cool. The visual effects are coming on there. Rian Johnson is coming on to direct it. So what's not to like? I mean, the visuals looked fantastic. And I don't care if I get a copyright claim on this video, because we're just going to look at some of the trailers, and I'm going to share my thoughts with you. Why I'm placing The Last Jedi as number 11, because I've only seen it 1.5 times. I saw it in the theater. I went to try to watch it again on Blu-ray, and I couldn't stomach it. And I know I'm not going to rag on it. I'm not going to rag on it to the point where you don't understand where I'm coming from here. But I felt like it was just written like it was a story that Rian Johnson had, but it was shoehorned in to be a Star Wars movie. And I felt like it fractured the fan base of what Star Wars fans are. And it's kind of like, I can't stand behind something that does that to a franchise that I hold dear. And I'm not going to rag on the little scenes in here that people like and don't like. But for me, I got to place that at a number 11 because I wasn't happy with it, man. I was not happy with The Last Jedi. So going to my list here. Let's put that in at the 11th spot. 11th spot. And I'll move it over once we start filling it up a little bit more here. Last Jedi. And The Rise of Skywalker is number 10. Because as much as I appreciated that this film was trying to wrap up all of the story threads in The Rise of, from The Last Jedi, this is also another movie I've only seen once, and I don't think I'm ever going to revisit it because, again, it's one of those things where I feel like the sequel trilogy was not written for my generation, my generation of Star Wars fans, and that's happened. We're going to talk about that as we go through some of these movies, because I feel like the fans that grew up with the original trilogy didn't like the prequels, but some of them liked the sequel trilogy. I'm one of the people that liked the original trilogy and the prequels, but as far as the sequel trilogy, I consider it very difficult to sit through, not because of the characters, because of the execution of the story. It just became very clear and prominent that they never sat down and had a cohesive plan as to where they were going with this franchise. And despite some of the cool things that happened in it visually, like Kylo Ren was a cool character. I just wish the story of him falling and Luke not being able to train him, I wish that was the sequel trilogy, but instead we got these other characters, and they tried to wrap it up with the Rise of Skywalker, but it felt like it was just slapped together. And for that reason, I have to place the Rise of Skywalker in my 10th spot, which is not going to be too pleasant for some people. Or for the majority of people. Let's just get that straight. They're not going to like that. So, there you go. Now, do I make a deviation here? Do I make a deviation? I don't think I do. Okay. So, we're going to go and take a look at the countdown list here again. Clone Wars, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Solo. Right. That's right, Solo. Now, I actually liked Solo, and for a short time I did own it on Blu-ray, but then I was kind of like, do I like Solo? Do I like Solo? I liked what they were trying to do with it. I liked the fact that we were going to see him younger, and I liked the fact that Emilia Clarke was in it. And I like the fact that they were trying to show him where he came from, but I didn't appreciate some of the story in it. Like, I like Woody Harrelson in it, but I felt like he was miscast. This is a huge miscasting here, and I don't care what people say. I like the soundtrack to Solo. I own the soundtrack to Solo in my library, so that's something that's the first one actually of the Disney Star Wars soundtracks that I actually own, because the rest of them, even though they're John Williams, I haven't been able to say that they've been really great soundtracks. But this one had some throwbacks that I appreciated, and I liked the new stuff. It was Michael Giacchino that did the score for this, right? And I felt like it was a fun ride. I felt like it was a good time. Last Skywalker Solo. Solo is going to be my 9th spot on my list. Solo. Now I'm going to deviate here because people will get an idea as to what my top 3 are. You pretty much know what that's going to be. But I'm going to give you my 6th spot because this is where the rankings might get a little bit skewed for some people. Once I give number 7 and 8, then you know where the rest are going. But I want to give the idea that perhaps I did rank some of these other ones in a bit of a different fare. So let me go back here to my list here, and we'll go through these again. Sorry, I don't have this set up properly. I'm making this up on the fly as I go. So a little bit like Solo. Next, I'm going to give you my number 6 pick. And this is the 6th spot, episode 1. And I already showed you that I've got like the that special edition VHS tape. And this is the soundtrack that I listen to quite a bit. I like the soundtrack for this one. And this special edition's got like the books in it and such. That's really cool stuff. It's got like a cell from the movie in it. And I watch the prequels about once a year. And I gotta tell you, I think that the Phantom Menace is appreciating over time. I think it's getting better because you get to see what George was kind of going for, and it was the first movie back, Star Wars, that we thought we were only going to get the first 3, and that was it. And then when this trailer dropped, when it was announced, everybody was just ecstatic. And I remember I filmed this on like a really crappy camera on a computer screen, and that's the only copy I had, and it just blew my mind. And it's something that we didn't get anything like this in the sequel trilogy, where we didn't have anything like this. We didn't have pod races, and it didn't have that George Lucas feel. But episode 1 does, because he did try to stretch the imagination. The pod race was amazing, breathtaking sequence, and I like the fact that yes, young Obi-Wan was cool, and episode 1 I think is growing in appreciation over time, like a fine wine, and I think people are slowly realizing that despite the wooden dialogue and all of the complaints about Jar Jar, I don't even pay attention to Jar Jar when I watch this movie. I'm just more interested in what's going on with Anakin. I really like Qui-Gon Jinn. Darth Maul is fantastic. I like how Lucas was trying to just introduce these characters to us, and how they met. I thought it was fantastic. I know that some of the visual effects don't hold up as much, but like a lot of it was models, and that's the trailer with the actual model Yoda, and I feel like they should have just kept him as the model. But Darth Maul was fantastic. How could you not like that big fight sequence at the end? Duel of the Fates, episode 1 definitely is my pick for my number 6th spot on my list. There we go. Yes, definitely. Now, we're going to go back and do number 8 and 7, but I just wanted to put that out there as to, maybe put a little bit of speculation into your minds as to what possibly could be next. I just feel like that I definitely have to do that because, that's the right thing to do, right? Rise of Skywalker, Solo, Phantom Menace is number 6. Let's go to the number 8 spot. The number 8 spot goes to The Force Awakens. And this is the most, no, that's not the most Disney Star Wars movie I've seen. But this is the one that brought us back to these characters, Han, Leia, and a little bit of Luke. But I fall into the category that, yes, once again, it's kind of succumbed to that trope that everybody complains about, that it's just retelling. And I know that a lot of the Star Wars fans out there don't want to hear that, but it's true. And it is apparent now when you watch like reactors on YouTube here, when they're reacting to The Force Awakens, one of the first things that you always hear out of their mouths is that this is just like episode 4. And JJ is good at shooting action. He's good at shooting like scenery and setting up things, but he's not good at really. He just takes things that we recognize and then just repurposes it for us. So there's really nothing new in these movies. There's nothing new, and it kind of wows you with the imagery that JJ's good at. It makes you go, oh wow, oh I remember that. That's really fun. That's really cool. But then about a year after, I was kind of like, wait a minute. I think we just had a fast one pulled on us, guys. The Force Awakens Um, maybe not as good as we think that it is. Uh, and it's one that yeah, especially with the way that they handled Luke with the Jedi Temple. Um, I just felt like they just mishandled it, and I felt like Poe was okay, but why did you try to fake the way that he was supposed to die? I know that he originally was supposed to die. Uh, Finn and Rey should have been the same character. They should have been the same character as far as I'm concerned. It should have been Rey that was a soldier of Phasma and just got rid of Finn, or have Finn work in some other way, like he's already with the rebels, and then have Rey be that fallen sky stormtrooper that has that Force awakening in her, and she seeks out what's going on. Like that would have made more sense to me, and that's why I'm ranking the Force Awakens so low on my list, because I, as much as I know that people love it, it's got to be number 8, guys. Force Awakens, number 8 is right there. Okay, let's continue on down the list. Now, I'm moving fast because I don't want this to be a huge long video. I don't think it has to be. But if anybody's in the live chat and wants to talk about these and wants to put in their input, let me know. Let's go into the number 7 spot. And this will let you know what the rest of the list is. And you'll be like, what? How is this possible? Well, I'll explain it once we get into it because, well, it's my list. Number 7 is Rogue One. And this, by far, has to be the best Disney Star Wars out that they've made. And I know that Gareth Edwards was sort of taken off the project, but I still consider it his film. And like the imagery in it was absolutely beautiful. I like the tributes that they had to Darth Vader and the technologies that were there. Jyn Erso was fantastic, and once again, it was the best Disney film because it was the most original. I felt it wasn't trying to wow you with things. Oh, do you remember that? And yes, we saw Mon Mothma in it, but. And we saw Darth Vader, and we saw Star Destroyers, we saw the the Death Star. But I just like the fact that we were looking at this team that was going to go in, and Chirrut was so fantastic in this movie. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. I find that I go back and I watch this one, and this easily could be my 6th spot between this and Phantom Menace. But I found that I end up watching Phantom Menace a lot more. But if Rogue One is on, I'll watch that hands down. And I can't wait to see the Andor series. I can't wait to see the Obi-Wan series because we'll see more of Darth Vader. But I really liked how this one played out. I liked that it was kind of like that Magnificent Seven, but in Star Wars. And I just really, really liked Rogue One. Felicity Jones, awesome. I felt like it was a really good movie. So, with that being said, that's where my list goes. I'm just going to put Rogue One right there. And I'll turn off my camera here so you can see it for just a little bit. No big deal there. It's number 7. I'll adjust it as we move on here. Maybe I can do that right now. I'll just make it a little bit smaller, maybe. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Okay, I know it's a little bit smaller, but it's a bummer as it is. So there we go. Let's go through the countdown here again. Clone Wars is number 12. And I know that's boring, but it's just the way that the posters are set up. I'm not going to read them off, but there we go. Rogue One. And we know that Phantom Menace is number 6. So my number 5 spot is Attack of the Clones. Now, this is going to take a lot of you by surprise, but I've seen Attack of the Clones 14 times in the theater. And I do listen to the soundtrack over and over and over again because I think the soundtrack, this is one of the best soundtracks that John Williams has done from this series. I love the soundtrack to it. And yes, I know that people don't like the fact that the dialogue is cheesy, and I'll address that here. Uh, I don't understand. Actually, I just watched somebody's reaction to Attack of the Clones the other day, and they didn't make any mention of the sand scene. Oh, I hate sand. Like, that never came up. He never even mentioned it. It went right over him. If he didn't know it was a meme, then, if they don't know that it's a meme, then people seem to like it. And I like this movie quite a bit. I like the atmosphere of this movie. I like the tone of it. As I said, the soundtrack just helps explore, flush out this world, and the fact that we get to see Coruscant at night, it's got to be one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars. It was just great, and yeah, I agree that some of the dialogue is terrible. I 100%, and that could have been saved in the edit room. I believe it definitely could have been saved in the edit room 100%, because yes, I killed them all. Even the kids and stuff like that. It was bad dialogue, but I liked the arena sequence at the end. I like how Palpatine here is not fully given away yet for some people, because I am watching reactors go through these movies and they suspect him, but they don't know it yet. They know that Darth Vader is in the series, but they don't know yet that Anakin is going to become that person. So seeing it from their perspectives, the younger generations, the people that haven't seen these movies, it's very fascinating to me. And I feel like these movies are definitely going to be appreciating over time. And I wish that they could go back and update some of the visual effects, because I know they can do some of those better now. But like when this all came out, I thought it was really well handled. Of course, I saw it only 14 times because at the time, the matinee around the corner from where I lived was only $5. So I could just go into the theater for $5 and watch it, and watch a whole bunch of movies actually. And then I would go and say, well, hey, Attack of the Clones is on, and I'll go in and watch the movie. I felt it was, I loved it. And I like the soundtrack. Well, that's a repurpose of the end of Empire Strikes Back soundtrack. But yeah, and the purple lightsaber. I thought it was great. I was really looking forward to it. And I was in with Attack of the Clones when the internet was still young, and I belonged to forums where we were speculating as to what was going to happen next in episode 2. Is he going to become Darth Vader in episode 2? And like, that's what the big speculation was. So let's go and change my little ranking system here on my spreadsheet. There's Attack of the Clones. So then it's fairly obvious as to what's episode 4. My number 5 pick. And we'll just go through my number list here again. Attack of the Clones. So Revenge of the Sith is definitely in the top 5. It's number 4. And I love the soundtrack to this one too. I listen to this one quite a bit. I love Revenge of the Sith. And because it tells the story of how Darth Vader came together. And I felt like this story should have been episode 2. And now we get to have whatever Kenobi was going to be doing to try to save some of the Jedi now in the series. And I felt like episode 3 should have been all about that. But do I have anything over here I want to show? No, I don't. Okay, so that's where I feel that that's a good spot for episode 3. And the trailers for episode 3 were phenomenal. I felt like the teaser that came out where you just heard the breathing, and then you saw him rise up, I felt like that was really cool. And then when the full trailer came out, and you heard Palpatine talking in the beginning of it, it just totally set a different tone.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
And like, how could you just be like, what? And he's like, oh, how can I learn this power? And you could see that he was being seduced over to the dark side. And I felt like this was a fantastic Star Wars movie. I like that the doubts that the Jedi had in him. I liked that you knew that it was going to end in the huge battle between him and Obi-Wan, and it was heartbreaking as to why he was going to change and go to the dark side. When you think about it, that it was going to be because he was trying to save his kids. I felt like, yeah, and that resonates with a lot of the younger generations that are watching it now. That he went to the dark side to help his family. A plus more phenomenal in the live chat says, I really enjoyed Attack of the Clones soundtrack too. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite of the prequels, and that's it. It truly is the best of the prequels, and it's got to be my fourth favorite Star Wars movie of all time, because it's that big epic story. We do get to see the fall of the Jedi. We get to see Anakin become Darth Vader, and then Order 66 was brutal. It's still brutal. I was watching somebody react to it the other day, and when that goes down, that is just a huge heartbreaking scene. And the ending fight there when he's fighting with Obi-Wan, that score, that soundtrack, was it Heroes? What's that track called? Battle of the Heroes. That song, Anakin's Dark Deeds, great soundtrack, absolutely great soundtrack. And it was just, it left me a little bit hollow at the end though, because once again, Lucas was done with the Star Wars trilogies, and it was like, are we going to get any more? And he said that no, there wasn't going to be an episode 7. So I was like relishing it for all that it was, but I still think it holds up quite a bit. I think it's a great film, and I still like watching it. And that is where my pick is, number 4 for Revenge of the Sith. Now, we knew that the top 3 were going to be the original trilogy, but in which order? In which order do you think that they were going to be in? And I think that's the final questions. And I feel like that's pretty much going to be the same as everybody's list. So let's go through my pick. As well, as you can see right there, it's A New Hope, and this is like the original trailer, I think, just remastered. I like the New Hope as number 3 because I do watch. I used to watch Return of the Jedi on a daily basis. Every day before I went to school, I would watch Return of the Jedi. But number 4 is, I mean, come on, Han Solo is my favorite character from A New Hope, and it's just got some epic scenes in there, and I like the fact that it was made for a lower budget, the fact that they were just trying to make this thing up, and it somehow all came together. It's just phenomenal, and I still like to revisit this soundtrack as well. I listen to this soundtrack, and I do have the Empire Strikes Back soundtrack here too, but I'm not going to pull out all the soundtracks. I can't do that every time. But yeah, A New Hope definitely is my 4th spot. And I do like to watch the specialized editions every now and then. But I do accept. Whoa. I do accept the Blu-ray versions of the original trilogy. I do like to watch them just because it's a clearer picture, and I feel like that's what you got to go with. But number 4 definitely is going to be A New Hope. So let's put that up on my little chart here. A New Hope. So it's going to be between Return of the Jedi and Empire, and it's pretty obvious. The number 1 spot is the only one of the few movies that I've ever given a 10 out of 10. I think it's perfect. I think it's one of the most perfect movies that has ever been made. So let's just go right over to the trailer for it. And as I said, this is a movie where I watched it every day. Like, I would watch little snippets of it before I would go to school in the mornings, because it just made me happy. And I loved watching it. So there it is. There you can see it. And I liked it because it brought Luke Skywalker into his own. I like the fact that he had come full circle from being in the Sarlacc scene. All the scenes are so fantastic in this movie. Darth Vader, he gets redeemed, and I just like how it was all handled. I like the showdown at the end was epic, and I like the fact that there were 3 big battles at the end between the space battle, the force battle, the battle of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Once again, the soundtrack for it was phenomenal, and Return of the Jedi. What more is there to say about it? As far as the Ewoks go, I didn't have any problem with them. I didn't rag on them for being like teddy bears. I felt like it was a smart choice. Now, I know that in the original script that Lucas wanted to use the Wookiees, but, you had to make do with what they had to make do with. And the throne room scene is just absolutely breathtaking. You can feel the tension in there with how well it was handled. And Akbar was phenomenal in this. And man. Yeah. It's one of those movies where you just watch a little bit of it and you just get sucked right into it. And that's the mark of a good movie. So that's where I rank Return of the Jedi as my number 1 spot. Sorry, my number 2 spot. So yeah, you know what's going to be in the number 1 spot. It's going to be The Empire Strikes Back. A+ phenomenal. It's my favorite too. I was born in 82 and grew up on the movie on VHS. It's a great epic to a conclusion. So, yeah, and I do like Return of the Jedi, but Empire definitely is. It's got to be my number 1 because I do believe that Empire is the perfect movie. Like it's got all of the elements in there that you can ask for in a movie. It's got good story, directing, acting. Like Han Solo in this does a phenomenal job. Carrie Fisher's really great in this, and Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, all of the visual effects. The soundtrack is great. The score is phenomenal. It's probably got to be John Williams' best work, I would say. Something that everybody just has to go back and listen to. I own that black book somewhere, and I can't find it right now. I was looking. That's why the show was late, because I was looking for it. But I do own it. I do own different copies of the soundtrack for this, and yeah, Empire definitely has to be the number 1 spot because I even like to watch this version, guys. Because the timings in it are different. The score soundtrack is the timings are different because this is not the special edition, right? So it's that old school version where you can see like the cell mats around the spaceships and stuff. Yeah, I'm really happy about this copy. And yeah, this poster is great. I have this poster tucked away in my closet, rolled up, and wow, what more can I say about it? It's let's take a look at some of the trailer footage there for it. It's weird because I saw the original trilogy in a weird order. I like the relationship that Han had with the Falcon, with it not working very well, and I saw Star Wars first, and then my dad took me to Return of the Jedi. But I knew what was going to happen in Empire. It wasn't until I went to a friend's house and we saw Empire on VHS that I actually saw the full movie. So I saw Star Wars and then Return of the Jedi and then Empire in that order. I didn't see it in that order. But God, like Princess Leia in this movie is so awesome too. She's got great chemistry with Han Solo in this. And Carrie Fisher, like, she was probably like got to be like my first crush growing up, and like the pacing of it, it's darker in tone, and it set the bar for what a good sequel was supposed to be. Fuzz in the live chat says, "Hey, and except for that scene, that didn't hold up so well. But it definitely set the bar as to what a good sequel was supposed to be, because it didn't retread anything like Force Awakens did. It reinvented itself and took us more along with what these stories, character stories, were going to be. You know, it advanced things and gave us a whole bunch of cool characters, including Boba Fett. And if you didn't know, Boba Fett is my screensaver, right, on my phone and such. So it's kind of like I have like pillowcases and everything. I've got models of the Slave One, and yes, I call it the Slave One, not the Disney version of what the ship is called. I'll always call it the Slave One. And I once again, I make a point to watch. Ooh, that was a deleted scene. I make it a point to watch Empire on a yearly basis. Okay, so that scene there, that's not in the movie. That's from a deleted scene where originally the Wampas, like that's where the Wampas are being held. Wampas broke into the Hoth snow base, and they trapped them in this room. And as they were escaping from the stormtroopers, 3PO rips off the warning sign so that the stormtroopers will go in there and get torn to pieces by the Wampas. Of course, they didn't have the time or effects to finish off that, but like that would have been awesome. You see what they were trying to do with it. And Lando Calrissian was great. Cloud City is phenomenal, and it's one of the best versions that you know how they did the special edition. The remastering of it is the best remaster of the special editions for sure. And there's nothing in the in that edition that I'm embarrassed about. And I got a big poster of just Darth Vader in the sky, in the stars there too. And watching people's reactions to it now too, I still think that movie holds up. I think it definitely still holds up. So we'll recap things here by looking at my big list here. Now I'm going to drop myself out of this frame and I'll just drag this up because I got it on my Excel sheet, and just give you a quick look at it there. Yeah, that's my list. Now I don't think anything is going to change on it because we don't have Rogue Squadron that pilot movie that's coming out. Why am I drawing Squadron X-Wing movie coming out by Patty Jenkins? Why am I drawing a blank on it? Not Rogue One. Rogue Squadron. Is that what I'm thinking? Rogue Squadron? But yeah, that's the only other movie that we have announced. But we know other movies are coming, and I'll update the list as it comes out. But as I said, I still think that the Ewok movie should count. Caravan of Courage definitely is a TV movie, and Battle of Endor is too. But you can't say that you don't like Teak in Battle of Endor, the guy that runs fast. And I was watching this the other day, Battle of Endor. The visual effects are terrible, but it does almost feel like it was a legitimate attempt at another Star Wars movie. All right, so we'll count down the list here by posters and, or not posters because I don't have it set in order, but Clone Wars, Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, Solo, and then number 6 is Phantom Menace. Force Awakens is number 7. Rogue One is number 6, and then Phantom Menace is number 6, and Attack of the Clones is number 5. Revenge of the Sith is number 4. New Hope is number 3. Return of the Jedi is number 2. I love that movie too. And Empire Strikes Back is number 1. So there you go. Those are my rankings for all the Star Wars movies. Yeah, it's not a very long video, I know, but I didn't want to go on. And I thank you guys for joining me in the live chat. Quite a bit, actually. Thank you very much. I know that this was just put together on the fly. I wasn't expecting a huge audience, but I feel like I like doing it live in case somebody does come in, like A+, more phenomenal. Thanks for coming in. Fuzz, Aldrin in the live chat, thanks for coming in. And I hope you enjoyed my list, and let me know what your list is in the comments below, because I'll definitely give it a thumbs up. I always respond to my comments, guys. Return of the Jedi. I feel like watching that one right now, too. But Empire is my number one, and I don't ever suspect that that's going to change, because, as I said, it's a 10 out of 10 movie, and that's, well, you can't beat it. You can only be on the same level with it. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. That's my ranking for the Star Wars films theatrical movies. Let me know what you think about that list in the comments below, and we'll talk about it. If you don't know, we do a live movie news show 12 p.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday, where we talk about all of the movie news headlines, and I'll leave a little end card here at the end for you guys to click on that. Here are all my social media handles that you can follow me on. You get to see some of the behind the scenes stuff too on some of these. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. for more movie news, and follow the playlist for Get to Know James, because you get to know a lot of my other thoughts on my favorite action movies, my favorite sci-fi movies, my favorite actors, actresses. We'll talk about, the list is growing on Get to Know James. And so if you want to know my thoughts on other movies and such, follow the playlist and follow me on Mirror Domains. As you can see, I'm fairly easy to talk to. All right. See you tomorrow.